Hello, first grade. It's time to go to your math resources and get out those shapes you cut out last week. You might even pause it right here. See if you can get all of these shapes that I have here in this picture. And then I want you to go into your math packet and grab the grid. It's on 7.9 class activity. And down here, it says it's on page 223. It's the inch grid. You're going to need that. All right? So if you need to pause it, go ahead and do so, and then you can come right back. By the way, I am keeping my triangles handy that I also cut out before. I'm just kind of keeping all that together. All right, kiddos, let's take a look. So what I'd like you to do is we're going to start thinking about all these little shapes called composite shapes. And what they allow us to do is they allow us to take other shapes and make new things, such as two rectangles like this can go together to make another rectangle. Can you think of another way to make a rectangle just by using two rectangles? I think some of you are starting to think about this together. Ooh, that's still a rectangle. Three rectangles have now gone together to make the composite shape of a larger rectangle. And I can even put this one on the side here and make even a bigger rectangle. It's kind of fun when you actually really get into it. I was playing around with this shape earlier. This is kind of a really long rectangle. Oh, I'll clear my mat here. Whoop. And this long rectangle seems like it might be kind of interesting. And then I was even thinking I could throw on, make it even longer. Well, that's a super long rectangle. Long and skinny. Or what if I took this one and I put it, this rectangle, and I rotate it. 90 degrees means making that little square corner go this way now. And I'm talking about the square corners. We're talking about those little corners down there in the square. And I could probably put another one here. I could probably put one here. And one right here. Sorry about my camera work, everybody. I'm holding my iPhone with one hand and moving the pieces with the other hand. You're welcome. Oh my goodness, Mr. Benny. Okay, next, I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. Those are pretty good rectangles there. Next, I'm thinking I'm going to play with just some squares. If I can grab a square, that's kind of fun. Just remember, you can always pause this if it's going too fast. So I'm going to put another square down and maybe a third square here. Ooh, that looks pretty good. I just used 3 squares to make a rectangle. That's kind of fun. I could keep going and expand this rectangle, of course. Or I could even take some away. If I just pull this one out. And I could put these actually over here to make a really long skinny rectangle like before. Or even like a medium-sized one. Oh, it's kind of fun. All right, now, what if I rotated these over and I put them kind of this way, going vertically, and then I could also take, let's see, what if I did this? Ooh, what if I put this one here? I got my green rectangle. And then I got this one, I stuck it on the side. Can you figure out what of our remaining shapes what we might do to fit those in here? Let's take a look. Well, actually, this big rectangle might just fit. That's kind of a fun way to do it. And, you know, something else that might be kind of interesting. What if I just even took this away? Now all of a sudden I do still have a rectangle inside there. And now I'm using 2 rectangles and a square to make that. I'm sure that's not the only thing we could think of. A lot of us are probably thinking, no, get those squares back in action, Mr. Penny. There we go. Making another rectangle. Other kids are probably like, well, look at that. There's just a rectangle right there with only squares. And then other kids are like, well, what if you just rotated it this way? Put the squares on top. It's still a rectangle. Or even if you took out those 2 squares, it would still be a rectangle. All right, go to the next slide because now we're going to try making some other composite shapes. Take a look.